You never understand that you're in a pivotal moment of your life until you are actually standing down the barrel of it. I was in that very same situation about 2 years ago when I was sitting on the couch with my husband and I was about to tell him 2 words that I was absolutely terrified to say. I didn't want to say them out loud because it meant they were true. And if I said them out loud, that meant that I could no longer pretend that the pushing and the fighting that I was doing was actually making any difference. I had to actually come to terms with the fact that I had failed. I had failed at launching the business that I had been so terrified to start 1.5 years prior. That's where it all started. We had gone through a period, it was right at the end of COVID. Everybody was going back to work. We were all getting back to what they were calling the new normal. And that new normal for me looked like my company of 5 years, building the corporate ladder, telling me that I was fired. And I could have panicked, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't panic was because God had showed me through the pandemic that it was actually possible for me not to return to work. And it had also given me some time to really reflect and to look into what it could be possible. Because I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but being stuck in a corporate job and being comfortable in that place is what made it practically impossible for me to even start, because I didn't have enough fear. I think of that Friends episode where they talk about the fear. But it's kind of true. When you have something comfortable and you have something that seems like it's working, we're creatures of habit, and it makes no sense for us to actually step out in faith to do something that's terrifying when we're in that place. So it was the one opportunity that I needed to actually get out and try to do something terrifying but awesome at the same time. And after that period, I dove right into a period of research. I went down all kinds of different rabbit trails. I knew that I wanted to do something in real estate. And it wasn't too long after doing a bunch of research. I would say it probably took me about 3 months of researching every single day to land on Airbnb. And if you know, at that particular time, right at the, coming back to work period, that was actually the high point in Airbnb. It was a booming market. And so it was a good time for me to start. I did everything I needed to do. I did all the research to get things started, researched what type of property I needed to buy, what market I was going to buy in, went through all the steps of designing the property, purchasing the house, and setting everything up, working with contractors, completely remodeling the inside. It was a lot of work. And the lunch was great. But the problem was that about 4 months after we started, the market changed completely. And I had been working for months trying to backpedal and to make everything work that I could. I had invested in marketing efforts and I was literally spinning my wheels trying to get it to work. And in that living room, in that moment, I had to tell my husband that I had failed and that I couldn't make it work, and that we had a very difficult decision to make at that particular point in time. We had to decide if we were going to sell it or if we were going to move in. And because we're absolutely insane, we decided to move in, and we moved away from everything and everyone that we knew. And it was a crazy adventure. It was incredibly scary too. But that failure and me getting fired, those two things taught me something that I never, ever want to forget. And what that is that it is okay to fail. As horrible and as humiliating as it is, the failures that you have teach you valuable lessons. And those two failures taught me two things. One, I can do something different with my life. I had always wanted to do entrepreneurship. Great. I could do it. It was possible. The other piece of it was that I learned through failing at that Airbnb business was sometimes it's okay to fail, because if we don't give up and we pivot and try something different, that is the thing. Those are the lessons that are going to propel us forward in our life. So my pivot after failing at Airbnb was actually to start content creation. I had always wanted to do a YouTube channel. And I didn't actually get into YouTube channel because very quickly I realized the minute that I sat down to record my first video, I'm sure pretty much anybody who's ever created a piece of content can relate to this, but I hit record and I stared at my camera like a deer caught in the headlights. And it was crazy. I couldn't understand why somebody who is fairly comfortable speaking in front of people, I just clammed up and I could not talk on camera. And I learned very quickly that it wasn't something that I could just instantly be amazing at. It actually took some practice. So because I recognized early on that I had a lot to learn about getting comfortable behind the camera, I started filming short form content. And it took me to TikTok. I had never been on TikTok in my entire life. I had never filmed content. I never edited content. These were all things that were completely foreign to me. And just getting out there and learning everything that I could, it felt like standing in front of a fire hose. I know it's super cliche, but it did. It felt like there were so many things that I needed to learn immediately up front. And it was something that I couldn't just do right away. And if that's you, let me tell you, you are not alone, because every creator goes through this. But I'm going to say that I don't think enough of them actually talk about it out loud, especially the ones that you end up seeing the most of, because they've been through this part of their journey. It's something that they've left behind them quite a while ago. And so it's not necessarily part of the conversation. The other piece of it is that so many people are coming on here and they're packaging themselves as experts, regardless of whether or not they have their credentials. And I think that's why it's such a big thing that people have this imposter syndrome, because there is a part of it that is actually impostery, if that makes sense. I think that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But, we're starting here and we're not perfect. We're not arrived. We may have key insights. And that is one thing that I will say is that if you are starting your content creation journey, you're not a brand new beginner if you've had any kind of experience in life or in the world, period. Those are things that you have to figure out how to translate from your life onto camera into the lessons that you want to teach. But it's not something that evaporates or disappears just because you started pivoting and doing something new. Now, what I mean as far as the imposter syndrome piece of it is if you are trying to brand and invent yourself as an expert in an area that you are brand new to, you are being a little bit deceptive, if we're being completely honest. And the reason I say that is because it's okay to say that you're new. It's okay to say that you're at the beginning of a journey, because you are. And the cool thing is that we're in an age where anybody can do this. Anybody can sit behind a camera and film themselves and get some attention online. But you have to ask yourself what the reason for that is. Is it because you're trying to make an impact in a community? Is it because you're trying to teach someone that you genuinely feel is able to do things that you have learned how to do? Or is it because you want to earn an income online? That's okay. I want to get away from this idea that it's not okay to say that you're here to earn an income online. It is. It's okay to be here to talk about your products and to sell your products. Now, what's cringe is if that's the only thing that you're here talking about and it's the only thing that you want to show people. I personally think that you need to be adding value and giving genuine, caring advice before you talk to people about the things that you sell, because I don't know about you, but I would walk right out of the room if somebody walked in and behaved that way towards me in person. So why would I stick around and watch your content if you're going to do that? But going back to my journey and how I didn't end up starting the YouTube channel, I started short form content instead. The reason was because I recognized that long form content was going to be something that I needed to be a lot more comfortable on camera to do. And short form made it easy. I was able to film quick videos. I didn't have to be on camera forever. I was able to figure out how to edit. Let me tell you, CapCut is one of the most underrated editing tools out there. I'm sorry, I know. Premiere Pro, Blackmagic Pro, all those things, like, they're amazing too, don't get me wrong. But if you are brand new starting out and you pull up Blackmagic Pro's dashboard, you're going to be looking at it like, what in the heck do I do here? Color grading what? No, CapCut is definitely the best way to get your feet wet if you are just starting content creation and you need to easily figure out how to edit your videos. I do highly recommend getting started with short form content first. I know that is contrary to a lot of people's advice. The reason I say that is that if you're actually trying to film yourself and get comfortable filming, TikTok, I wouldn't say Instagram, but TikTok in particular is a very easy platform to get your videos seen if they're not professional looking at all. In fact, most of the videos that go viral on TikTok are videos that are very much shot off the cuff. One of my videos that went viral, I was wearing like this, no makeup at all, just talking about my body piercings because somebody had noticed that I had them. Really random. But that's TikTok for you. Now, I wouldn't say if you are going to start creating short form content and you post your content on TikTok that that's the place that you should live and really invest all your time in, because I'll be honest, if you are actually trying to earn an income from content creation, TikTok really is not the place to do it. Maybe other people have had different experiences, but for me personally, I haven't seen that it's a market audience that converts to paid buyers. It's just not. It's an entertainment platform, and that's primarily what it's used for. It's great to get eyes on your content and eyes on your education. Maybe get those people to go to a different platform like YouTube or Substack or even LinkedIn. That's a place where you're going to have much better interaction with people that are actually interested in purchasing your offer. But I will say this honestly, content creation has the ability to change your life. Building a personal brand has the ability to change your life too. Starting to monetize in a way that's meaningful and that actually adds value and change for people's life is incredibly life-changing. And the best way to move forward with that is to just begin. I know you've heard it a million times, but think about who you are as a person, not who you should be, not what the internet is saying works right now, but who you actually are. Because right now, there is more AI generated content being put out on all platforms than ever before in recorded history. That's important to note if you are a new creator in this space, because your personality, your individuality, your raw, real, unfiltered self is what's going to be so much more valuable to someone than the AI slop that some AI generated channel is producing. And in general, in our society as a whole, people are navigating away from screen time. I would strongly encourage you to get back to basics if you've been here for a while and you have not been making progress with your brand. And if you're starting from scratch, get down to who you are as a creator, how you talk specifically about your topic, and the life experiences that you've had that makes your perspective so much different from anybody else in your space. So here's my offer. I want to give you all the tools that you need to be able to succeed as a content creator, to succeed in building a unique and magnetic personal brand. I want you to feel like it's achievable, because it is. You do not need a fancy setup. You do not need all the bells and whistles that other creators have out there. You just need you, your personality, and your unique perspective on the topics that you talk about. For those of you that are brand new starting content creation, or that have not figured out what your personal brand is and haven't gotten clear on the person or people that you talk to and how you talk to them, I'm going to leave a link in the description for my 30-day cold start launch guide. That is going to give you absolutely everything that you need to fully conceptualize your brand in one place. And if this was exactly what you needed to hear today, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.